spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News Street. Louis prosecute the top prosecutor in Street. Louis has accused Officer Caitlin Alex was last Thursday by Officer Nathaniel R. Hedra in his home, the police said. Officer Hedra said the investigation into her death has not gone smoothly, according to Kimberly M. Gardner, The Street. Louis Circuit in a letter on Monday to John Hayden, The Street. Louis Metropolitan, the prosecutor also said she believes there was probable cause that drugs or alcohol might have played a role in the shooting. A spokeswoman for Ms. Gardner said she would meet with Mr. Edwards and Colonel Hayden on February the 7th to discuss her concerns. Representatives, but Coran Addo, a spokesman for Mayor Lido Cruson of Street. Louis rejects the police department is in no way obstructing this investigation, Mr. Addo said in an email. As the circuit attorney, in her letter on Monday, Ms. Gardner said her office had asked the police to take a blood sample from Officer Hedra and his partner, who was present in the home at the time of Officer Alex's death, for use in a criminal investigation. But the police declined. Ms. Gardner said the police department had told her office that local hospitals would not honor a search warrant asking them to take a blood sample, even though that is a common practice in criminal investigations, the prosecutor said. Instead, Ms. Gardner said, she was told that the police department's internal affairs division had taken a urine sample and conducted a breathalyzer test on both officers, even though a blood test is a more exact way of determining the presence of drugs or alcohol. To make matters worse, she said, the tests were conducted under guarantee rights, which her office describes as a form of assurance given to officers that statements they make to internal affairs will not be used against them in court. This is a serious problem in objective investigative tactics for a case that the police had been told was a continuing criminal investigation, she wrote. Taking these tests under the cover of guarantee appears as an obstructionist tactic to prevent us from understanding the state of the officers during the commission of this alleged crime, she wrote in the letter. We have the Ms. Gardner also expressed alarm over the police department's quick assessment view both in public and in private conversations with her staff view that Officer Alex's death was accidental. When her office was first notified of the shooting, she wrote, 2 of her staff members were told over the phone by the head of the Force Investigative Unit, which investigates officer-involved shootings, that Officer Alex's death was an accident. She said that Colonel Hayden called it an accident again later that day and also referred to it as a death caused by the mishandling of a firearm. In my opinion, it is completely inappropriate for investigators to approach a crime scene that early in the investigation with a predisposed conclusion about the potential outcome of a case, she wrote. She said she thought that Officer Hedra's lawyer, Talmadge E. Newton Paul, said Wednesday that it was Ms. Gardner who was behaving inappropriately. In a statement, he said that by requesting access to the officer's test results, Ms. Gardner was circumventing the law and demanding information from the police department that would violate the United States Constitution. And he said her decision to charge Mr. Hedra one day after the shooting, which he describes as a tragic, accidental death, demonstrated a rush to judgment on her part. It is clear that Circuit Attorney Gardner cannot be impartial, unbiased or objective in continuing to prosecute these charges, Mr. Newton wrote. He said Ms. Gardner.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.